Section 28 of the Handy Cyclopedia of Things Worth Knowing. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Caitlin Sticko, 2007. The Handy Cyclopedia of Things Worth Knowing by Joseph Trenans, published 1911. Section 28. The Law of Trademarks. Any person, firm, or corporation can obtain protection for any lawful trademark by complying with the following. 1. By causing to be recorded in the Patent Office the name, residence, and place of business of persons desiring the trademark. 2. The class of merchandise and description of the same. 3. A description of the trademark itself with facsimiles. 4. The length of time that the said mark has already been used. 5. By payment of the required fee, $6 for labels and $25 for trademarks. 6. By complying with such regulations as may be prescribed by the Commissioner of Patents. 7. A lawful trademark must consist of some arbitrary word, not the name of a person or place, indicating, or not, the use or nature of the thing to which it is applied, of some designating symbol, or of both said word and symbol. How to obtain a patent. Patents are issued in the name of the United States and under the seal of the Patent Office. A patent is a grant by the government to the inventor, his heirs or assigns, for a limited period, of the exclusive right to make, use, or sell any new and useful art, machine, manufacture, or composition of matter, or any new or useful improvement thereof, or any new, original, and ornamental design for any article of manufacture. Every patent contains a grant to the patentee, his heirs or assigns, for the term of 17 years, of the exclusive right to make, use, and vend the invention or discovery throughout the United States and the Territories, referring to the specification for the particulars thereof. If it appears that the inventor, at the time of making his application, believed himself to be the first inventor or discoverer, a patent will not be refused on account of the invention or discovery, or any part thereof having been known or used in any foreign country before his invention or discovery thereof, if it had not been patented or described in any printed publication. Joint inventors are entitled to a joint patent. Neither one can claim one separately. Independent inventors of distinct and independent improvements in the same machine cannot obtain a joint patent for their separate inventions, nor does the fact that one furnishes the capital and the other makes the invention entitle them to make application as joint inventors, but in such cases they may become joint patentees. Application for a patent must be made in writing to the Commissioner of Patents, from whom blanks and printed instructions can be obtained by mail. Reissues. A reissue is granted to the original patentee, his legal representatives, or the assignees of the entire interest when, by reason of a defective or insufficient specification, or by reason of the patentee claiming as his invention or discovery more than he had a right to claim as new, the original patent is inoperative or invalid, provided the error has arisen from inadvertence, accident, or mistake, and without any fraudulent or deceptive intention. Caveats. A caveat, under patent law, is a notice given to the office of the caveator's claim as inventor, in order to prevent the grant of a patent to another for the same alleged invention upon an application filed during the life of the caveat, without notice to the caveator. Any citizen of the United States who has made a new invention or discovery, and desires further time to mature the same, may, on payment of a fee of $10, file in the Patent Office a caveat setting forth the object and the distinguishing characteristics of the invention, and praying protection of his right until he shall have matured his invention. Such caveat shall be filed in the confidential archives of the office and preserved in secrecy, and shall be operative for the term of 1 year from the filing thereof. An alien has the same privilege if he has resided in the United States 1 year next preceding the filing of his caveat, and has made oath of his intention to become a citizen. The caveat must comprise a specification, oath, and when the nature of the case admits it, a drawing, and, like the application, must be limited to a single invention or improvement. Fees. Fees must be paid in advance, and are as follows. On filing each original application for a patent, $15. On issuing each original patent, $20. In design cases, for 3 years and 6 months, $10. For 7 years, $15. For 14 years, $30. On filing each caveat, $10. On every application for the reissue of a patent, $30. Added to these are the usual charges of patent solicitors for preparing the application and for drawings, etc. Shakespeare's Counsel. Polonius's advice to his son Laertes. And these few precepts in thy memory see thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them to thy soul with hooks of steel. But do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new-hatched, unfledged comrade. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in, bear't that the opposed may beware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich, not gaudy, for the apparel oft proclaims the man. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Hamlet 1:3. Poor Richard's Sayings. Benjamin Franklin. Drive thy business. Let not thy business drive thee. Diligence is the mother of good luck. Now I have a sheep and a cow, and everybody bids me good morrow. If you would know the value of money, go and try to borrow some. Great estates may venture more, but little boats should keep near shore. What maintains one vice would bring up 2 children. God helps them that help themselves. Poverty often deprives a man of all spirit and virtue. 'Tis hard for an empty bag to stand upright. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. For age and want, save while you can. No morning sun lasts a whole day. How to make change quickly. Always consider the amount of purchase as if that much money were already counted out. Then add to amount of purchase enough small change to make an even dollar, counting out the even dollars last until full amount is made up. If the purchase amounts to 57 cents and you are handed $2 in payment, count out 43 cents first to make an even dollar, then lay out the other dollar. Should the purchase be $3.69 to be taken out of $20, begin with $3.69 as the basis, and make up even $4 by laying out 31 cents. This 31 cents with the amount of the purchase you will consider as $4, and count out even dollars to make up to the 20 which the customer has handed in. Merchants' cost and price marks. All merchants use private cipher marks to note cost or selling price of goods. The cipher is usually made up of some short word or sentence of 9 or 10 letters, as Cornelius A. C1O2R3N4E5L6I7U8S9A0. $5 according to this key would be EAA. But generally, an extra letter is used to prevent the repeating of the mark for 00. If the sign for a second 0 in this case were Y, we would have EAY instead of EAA. Time in which money doubles. At 2%, simple interest, 50 years. Compound interest, 35 years. At 2.5%, simple interest, 40 years. Compound interest, 28 years, 26 days. At 3%, simple interest, 33 years, 4 months. Compound interest, 23 years, 164 days. At 3.5%, simple interest, 28 years, 208 days. Compound interest, 20 years, 54 days. At 4%, simple interest, 25 years. Compound interest, 17 years, 246 days. At 4.5%, simple interest, 22 years, 81 days. Compound interest, 15 years, 273 days. At 5%, simple interest, 20 years. Compound interest, 14 years, 75 days. At 6%, simple interest, 16 years, 8 months. Compound interest, 11 years, 327 days. At 7%, simple interest, 14 years, 104 days. Compound interest, 10 years, 89 days. At 8%, simple interest, 12.5 years. Compound interest, 9 years, 2 days. At 9%, simple interest, 11 years, 40 days. Compound interest, 8 years, 16 days. At 10%, simple interest, 10 years. Compound interest, 7 years, 100 days. A dollar saved, a dollar earned. The way to accumulate money is to save small sums with regularity. A small sum saved daily for 50 years will grow at the following rate. Daily savings of 1 cent, result, $950. 10 cents, $9,504. 20 cents, $19,006. 30 cents, $28,512. 40 cents, $38,015. 50 cents, $47,520. 60 cents, $57,024. 70 cents, $66,528. 80 cents, $76,032. 90 cents, $85,537. $1, $475,208. Transcriber's note: the figures from 1 to 90 cents assume about 5.5% interest. The $1 amount assumes about 10% interest. Short interest rules. To find the interest on any given sum for a number of days, at any rate of interest, multiply the principal by the number of days and divide as follows. At 3%, by 120. At 4%, by 90. At 5%, by 72. At 6%, by 60. At 7%, by 52. At 8%, by 45. At 9%, by 40. At 10%, by 36. At 12%, by 30. At 15%, by 24. At 20%, by 18. Trade discounts. Wholesale houses usually invoice their goods to retailers at list prices. List prices were once upon a time supposed to be retail prices, but of late a system of long list prices has come into vogue in many lines of trade. That is, the list price is made exorbitantly high so that wholesalers can give enormous discounts. These discounts, whether large or small, are called trade discounts and are usually deducted at a certain rate per cent from the face of the invoice. The amount of discount generally depends upon size of bill or terms of settlement, or both. Sometimes 2 or more discounts are allowed. Thus, 30% and 5% is expressed 30 and 5, meaning first a discount of 30% and then 5% from the remainder. 30 and 5 is not 35%, but 33 and 1/3%. 10, 5, and 3 off means 3 successive discounts. A wholesale house allowing 10, 5, and 3 off gets more for its goods than it would at 18 off. How to detect counterfeit money. In the space at disposal here, it is impossible, of course, to give a complete illustrated counterfeit detector, but the following simple rules, laid down by bank note examiner Geo.R. Baker, will be found extremely valuable. Examine the form and features of all human figures. If graceful and features distinct, examine the drapery. Notice whether the folds lie naturally, and observe whether the fine strands of the hair are plain and distinct. Examine the lettering. In a genuine bill it is absolutely perfect. There has never been a counterfeit put out but was more or less defective in the lettering. Counterfeiters rarely, if ever, get the imprint or engraver's name perfect. The shading in the background of the vignette and over and around the letters forming the name of the bank on a good bill is even and perfect. On a counterfeit is uneven and imperfect. The die work around the figures of the denomination should be of the same character as the ornamental work surrounding it. Never take a bill deficient in any of these points. Big trees. Of 92 redwood trees in Calaveras Grove, California, 10 are over 30 feet in diameter, and 82 have a diameter of from 15 to 30 feet. Their ages are estimated at from 1,000 to 3,500 years. Their height ranges from 150 to 237 feet. End of section 28.